Welcome back to the Duel podcast with your hosts Alicia and myself, Megan, where we talk all things a challenge. And we're back once again for episode 2 of the Challenge Rider Dies. We left off last week with a surprise with two new people. And we get that little back again in the first part of the episode where we left off with the arrival of Banani. Um, because Nani is back ready. No, it's really your face, and I said Banani, but
because why is that a thing? Have you? I don't. I've never
they've
called you
made it.
two.
They've made it a thing ever since they were partners.
Right, but like I've never went to say banani. Like it's never rolled off my tongue. So I'm kind of confused.
Yeah, but they're back, and as they walk in, Jay's like, "Go home." And Nani called this go around of Johnny as a business trip, and as also they walk in, Turbo is like, "I hate banana," and he called them idiot number one.
Listen, Turbo turns up this episode. I fuck with Turbo a lot.
If it's one thing about Turbo, he's gonna call somebody idiot.
Period.
And as like they get acclimated back in the house, Johnny and Devin realize that they're now roommates. And this is very interesting because you know their arc throughout the years on the show. They were butting heads on Rivals 3 on Devin's first season, and they've had a tumultuous back and forth over the years. But Devin is ready to let bygones be bygones, and they're friendly at this point.
No, I mean it is what it is with those two. I just think that it was funny seeing him bananas enter back into the house because like I said last week, you notice some of the people and their faces, and particularly Faisal,
Mm-hmm.
where he looked shook. And so definitely having a vet like that back in the house where it's like, all right, now you know it's going to be kind of this vets versus rookie kind of game that's being played because I think episode 1 the rookies came on strong with Johnny and Raven winning and making a statement, and now that it's like Bananas is here who has been known to run the house that he's always in or like have a strong hand on the alliances, now it's like all right, the vets are really back.
Yeah, and Nani was getting tea about what happened last week as well from Tori and Laurel, and she was like, "Oh, that's gonna happen." Like she's always really about the vets really working with one another, and we're gonna see that once again this go around. And she also mentioned that before she even came to film the show, the season, her mother passed away, so that's been really weighing heavy on her. But she's using that as motivation to really make her mom proud and like really go the distance this season.
Condolences to Nani and her family and her with dealing with her mom's loss. That's very hard, and like Johnny mentioned, like going through something like that and still being resilient enough to show up to do a challenge is, remarkable in that way because sometimes, or honestly, I don't even know how people will be coping with that kind of situation. So I do take my hats off to her in that way because she has a lot of emotions that she's dealing with. But we gonna still get into Nani because this episode she pissed me off. Her and her little chomping ass teeth. I'm sorry, like R.I.P. to her mom, but like, damn, like you wild annoyances. Like, I can't.
And Bananas sees Turbo for the first time since was it Turbo? It was never mind. It's been a while since they've seen each other. And he was trying to greet him, and Turbo was not having it, and he called Turbo an absolute nightmare. Which I feel like there's a conversation to be had about Turbo and how he deals with things, but also, mind you, this man's first language isn't even English. So a lot of things get lost in translation. And I get he's this
We'll talk about
intimidating,
it.
yeah,
Yeah.
but that just like it kind of like irks me because like he did well, like with integrating on his first 2 seasons, but now it's an issue with how he handles himself. Next, we see Jay and Michelle really talking about how they're going to be kind of playing in the middle between the vets and the rookies, with Michelle like being cool with the vets and Jay having allegiance to the rookies with Johnny, Raven, and Olivia and Horatio. This is gonna come back and bite them in the ass one day, which we saw later on in the episode. And then Tori told Devin that she was on a mental break after her breakup with Jordan over a year or so ago. And I'm like, this is a foreshadowing situation. But I applaud her for talking about her mental health struggles because that is important. And yeah. And then we're gonna
I
move
have
on to the
nothing.
challenge. Like before we even get to the challenge, someone knows had nothing for everybody in the house. And that was Miss Emmy because she decided to quit, and so her and Nam were out of the competition. And because Miss Ma'am quit, there's been a lot of things happening on social media around her.
Let's divulge because I don't know what's been going on, and I was absolutely confused and upset for Nam because this is about the third time that he's gone through a situation, whether it's him having a shitty partner or him being injured or having another shitty partner. So Nam is getting the short end of the stick. We are being robbed from Nam, and I just don't like it.
Yeah, so um allegedly this during the quarantines, with people who were alternates and people who were on the show, they found her to be rude and she was being a diva, and so people didn't like her. But I feel like, but also on her end of the spectrum, she came in like thinking that she was going to be on the show because they literally made her an alternate for at first. And she felt excited about that because she was like, I'm the queen of reality TV from Germany. Her resume on reality TV over there is extensive. So I get why she was pissed. And after that first challenge, she's like, I can't do this no more, and dipped out. But the backlash on social came from Jack and 2 alternates who weren't even on the season, and Corey Lay and Josh. And they had words for her. And I'm like, y'all not even on the season. Shut up.
So alternates are going after alternates. Is this what's happening?
Alternates are going at people who are actually on the who made it on the show.
Because I did see her little IG live, it was like a 3 minute video of her discussing her finding out that she was an alternate and her being a reality TV queen in Germany, and her feeling some type of way about being an alternate when she probably felt like she had better opportunities that she let go by because she was called to do the show. And also just, I guess, I don't know, her treatment on the show where TJ was calling her out of her name, which he was calling her Emily. And I'm not saying like it wasn't a uh, demeaning way, but he was calling her out of her name and, just being rude to her and being his TJ way of don't quit and whatever else he says. So, I mean, from what I got from her IG, she was an alternate. She didn't expect to be an alternate. The bitch is popping in Germany and Spain. She came to America and they treated her like she was that baggage claim and told her go back home. Essentially, that's what I got from her IG
Yeah.
live. And I mean, I just, again, I really not like in tune with her experience. And then also there's the other side of actually people being around her and meeting her that had, the experiences that they had with her and that are talking about it. So somewhere in the middle lies the truth. I just don't know where it is. And honestly, the bitch is off the show, so I don't care. But I'm sad for Nam because why would y'all give Nam this lady that he don't even know? Like, the season is called Ride or Die. And that just shows to go the little freaking plot twist y'all try to swing on us and say this was a ride or die season and people are bringing their ride or dies and rah rah rah, and she don't even know him to ride or die. Like I don't understand.
Yeah, that when I saw that pairing in the spoiler season, I'm like, this doesn't make sense, and I'm like, how this gonna work? But like people who are kind of like paired up, they're working well together. Cause
It
I don't.
makes sense for the other pairs.
Yeah.
Like it makes sense. Well, actually, let me take it back. It makes sense for most of the pairs, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
For the vets, for maybe Johnny and Bananas, who had a storyline with each other. Laurel bringing somebody who she's grown close with. Casey and her brother. Um, maybe even I would say Michelle and Jay a little bit because they have the survivor connection. But
Mm-hmm.
honestly, there's some other people that is just like Johnny and Raven. I'm sure they were just put together because Johnny knew Raven and she like he hooked it up like some kind of way. It's a lot of holes in the ride or die situation that's been happening here.
Yeah. It's so, but it just it's been it's hasn't been a mess, but people have been clocking the people who did not make it on the show, because especially Corey Lay, because he got pissy that Michaela was not going to be on with him because she was like, I'm not doing it, I have a job, I'm not leaving, and he still ended up being out there, but he did not make it. um and I'm just like, sir, sit down. Like, be quiet. And that's why you got ate up on Twitter. You keep talking about people, and it's not helping you to get cast in. But that's that. I don't want to drag Corey that much anymore because he be doing it to himself. But as I'm gonna digress. We get to the actual challenge because that man be really annoying me with his little tweets about, especially the women that he be having issues with. I'm like, sir, calm down. The actual challenge of the week is called Balancing Act, where they have to swim to the respective ladders to climb up a container, and then to climb up the rope, swing. Oh, sorry. They have to climb up the rope to get to a container, then rope swing to the next platform and manage to balance it. First team who balances it within the fastest time, they will win this daily and have power. And so we start off the first pair. Had a good showing, which was Horatio and Olivia. And this is, he said, this is his playground because he's done similar things on his original show on Univision. And as he was speeding through this whole thing, TJ was like, this guy came to play. Like, he got up the ladder quick, ran up the platform, and then the way he jumped onto the beam, I was like, I like this man. Like, this is a Ricky I gotta look out for.
No, for sure. And it was something that Darrell had pointed out in the pre-show before the show that aired last week, where Darrell was like, he saw Horatio and how he's played in his other shows. And so Horatio is not new to this. It's just an American version of the shows that he's been on, or some like alteration of it. So him getting up there and doing what he needed to do is not surprising. It's funny because TJ had a lot of commentary this episode. Like, I know TJ's always in the background, but TJ was eating the girls. Like, he was just in there just giving commentary the whole time. And he absolutely loved it because, sometimes when rookies come on the show, they don't really know what they're getting themselves into. But because Horatio has that background, it seemed like he just fit right in and killed it. And then shout out to Olivia, who stepped up and did what she needed to do as well, because she realized, I have this guy on my side and he's killing it, and I need to follow suit. Like, I'm no quitter. I'm not going to just not do it because I don't know how to. So she did what she needed to do, and they ended up eating that up. Like, they were really surprising that first challenge.
Yeah, they balanced that quick, and I was like, whoop, they just had the bar. And I love that for them. Next team was Tamara and Turbo, and immediately Turbo front flips into the water. And Tamara made it up to the crate first, but Turbo got onto the platform first, and he was making it a 90-degree angle so that she can jump on. However, she couldn't get it. She was struggling to get on the platform from the rope, and she fell in the water.
Poor Turbo. I sympathize with Turbo. I love Turbo this episode. I'm sorry. I know everyone's like, "Oh my god, Turbo, Turbo." I fuck with Turbo for some reason. Like, I don't know what it is about him, but I fuck with him. And Tamara was on. She was on the ride of her life with dealing with him in the house. Like, I could already tell, and I know that there were some things behind the scenes where he was like putting her ass through the ringer. Okay, but at the end of the day, they DQ'd, and then it just became a long line of people who DQ'd.
Yes. Next we had Scuba Nelly and Nerese. Listen, Scuba Nelly was ready to come and play.
How
He
many
cannonball.
challenges has he won? How many daily challenges has he won? They're gonna run that through the mud this season. Okay, by the
They
way.
are. They really are. Last time he probably won was on Invasion. That it's been a while, a long time. So like I said, he cannonballs into the water. He is enthusiastically like on the crate running, and he jumps onto the platform, but he's barely hanging on, and he manages to get on finally. But Reese, on the other hand, just falls into the water.
Yeah. I mean, Nerese was trying to. I mean, one thing I can say is that everyone at least gave it an effort. Now, if their effort succeeded or not is the question, which most of them did not. But I mean, she tried. That's what you
Yeah.
gotta. Also, I can give her.
um, Holly and Kim were next, and Kim immediately fell. Um, oh no, Kim didn't immediately fall, but she fell, and they DQ'd. The team that immediately didn't do anything was Tommy and Annalise, who I keep forgetting who are there because they don't do nothing. Because Tommy barely even got onto the platform. He literally fell from the container. And was like, he gotta go next. I can't see them anymore because they don't do nothing, and they're just there.
It's only 2 episodes. They haven't really given much, and I just feel like I don't know why they're one of the couples that are literally just in the background. Like they just are so irrelevant to people's games in the house that they're just chilling, which is
Yeah,
always a good spot to be because that's how people make it to the finals.
yeah. That reminds me of Nate and Christina from Rivals 3. Like I don't know how
Mm.
far like these two will go, but they kept Nate and Christina around for a while until it was time for them to go. They might be them, but I don't think they're gonna give anything um TV wise. But next we have Mariah and Faisal, and he falls.
Listen, it's DQ after DQ, DQ after DQ, starting with um my sis Tamara. Bye. Everybody else falls down off. Everybody else. Everybody. When I
Yes.
say everybody, I mean everybody. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
everybody.
The next team who goes like because Raven and Johnny they did the cue because Johnny fell, Amber fell, Laurel fell, Michelle fell. Then we get to Tori and Devin, and they both make it onto the platform, and they balance it. And then Bananas and Nani were next. Bananas made it. Nani jumped on. They balanced it. And then TJ called for the last team. I'm thinking, oh, wait, hold on. what? And everybody, obviously, they're looking like, huh? And turns out, Casey and Kenny were back from DNP COVID and are back in the game.
Boo. Boo. Don't want to see it. Boo. Yeah, no, I was not interested in seeing this at all.
And Casey was like, "My girlfriend's here! Yay!" But she was very excited that Kenny gets to show himself and his abilities. But that man was struggling on that ladder. But he made it on the platform. Casey made it with a little bit of ease, and they were able to balance it. And that's how we ended this daily challenge.
Yeah, I'm not too enthused. I, so one thing that's not clear to me is why they keep adding people to the show. Like, I know typically challenges start with like 85 people and then we start going through them. But it's like every week we're adding another ride or die team to it. Now we have probably about two more left with Jordan and Anissa coming on next week, and Darrell and Veronica probably coming on the following week. So that's more than six, but whatever. That's more people coming on the fucking show. And then you have Casey and her brother coming back after Nam and Emmy were kicked out. So it's like, I don't understand, how many people do y'all have on the show? Like, it's
Yeah,
not very clear.
I think also because they had shut down production a little bit for quarantine again. So I think this happened after that second quarantine, like Casey and Kenny coming back.
But they probably was part of the reason why they had quarantine. Why are they even coming back? Like,
I don't know. I don't know. But yeah, this is the I get the idea of bringing in the heavy hitters because that's what people are kind of named as they're coming into the game. But like you said, it's very weird on how they're doing it because it's not helping the plot. It's not moving anything.
yeah, it's just not. It's like, here's another ride or die team. Here's another ride or die team. It's like, okay, thanks, but like, what's the reason? Like, what's the purpose?
I don't know. But back to the challenge. Only four teams were able to balance it, and they were seconds between one another. The winners, though, of this challenge were Banani, who had the edge for the win.
Which, congratulations to her. I mean, she was so excited to have won. And now that leaves her and Bananas with power. And the dynamics have shifted once again back to the vets. After that first win from Johnny and Raven, now you have Bananas and Nani winning, which is like the vets of all vets, with especially with Bananas. And so here we go. Here we go with the bullshit.
Yep, and so they'll deliberate on what teams are on the bubble to go in, and then they'll pick their target. And Tamira hoped that because Turbo and Nani were cool, that they wouldn't be going in. But girl, the rate that your partner was going, that house hated him and they wanted him out. So they was gonna tell Nani, hey, picture me and then.
I mean, we can get into it. I just don't get how this even started with Nani. Well, actually, let me rephrase that. I understand why Turbo got upset with Nani in the way that she addressed her question. Because one, she was not there for the incident with Laurel. She's hearing it secondhand. And so it can sound exaggerated and more than what it was when he said what he said, when he was like, I want to go in one by one in elimination and all this other bullshit. He's just talking at that point, and he's not saying he wants to go into elimination every single week and beat every single person, because that's not obviously what you want in playing the game. But I think what his mentality was is that, you want to come at me, we can go at it in elimination if need be. We can go at it one-on-one, whatever the situation is. I'm here, I'm ready to rock and roll and do whatever I gotta do. And so everyone took that opportunity once he said that and ran with, he wants to go into elimination. He got to go. Like, he got to get out of here. He's rude to everybody. Blah blah blah. I don't. To me, I don't really know if he's being rude or just everyone is just. I don't know if I'm so Team Turbo where I'm like everyone's just being pissy. Like, what? I get the sentiment of people not liking him in the house, in the situation that was happening, because he was very blunt, straightforward, very just like to the point, not playing. Like, you can't even joke around with him. Like, it ain't nothing with him. Like, it's a very much military straight, yes sir, no sir, like, stand in the corner and step away from him. But Nani came at him, and this is supposed to be her friend. This is where she lost me in her argument, because she was like, "Oh, I'm trying to be loyal to you and I'm trying to be your friend and have a conversation." And you addressed him as, "Do you want to go into elimination or not?" Knowing damn well he probably said it in jest and didn't want to go into elimination. But because Johnny is your partner and Johnny does not want him there, you're going to go after him because that's what Johnny says. Just say that, sis. Like, don't frame it as, "I'm trying to come to you as a friend." Like, she tried to woman him, like, "I'm trying to come to you as a woman." And like, no, 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 that's not what you're trying to say. Like, you trying to talk for your little partner back there, and but you trying to make it seem like you're trying to be his friend and come to him as somebody who is loyal. And girl, bye, girl.
um, like I kind of get where she's coming from a little bit, because like everybody's come telling her what happened, and she's like, "Hey, I know you are not scared to go in, but hey, do you want to go in?" What lost me was the fact that it got to the point where it didn't need to go, because he was not trying to hear her out, which I totally understand. So I'm like, "Why are you coming to me with this?" And she's just like, "No, you're gonna keep talking. You're gonna keep talking to me. Like, I'm trying to talk to you, ma'am. If you don't want to talk, let him be.
Yeah,
That's
I
it."
think she was just trying to control that whole narrative and conversation, and that's where she just kept losing me. Because if he's saying he doesn't want to talk, then why are you still trying to stop him and make him talk to you? And she hurt her argument even more when she was like, "When I was partnered with Turbo, I was the one who was doing the politicking. He was the one who was helping me win all the games. Oh, so you realize how he is, and realize he probably doesn't want to talk to you because that's not what his game is. That's not what he's good in. That's not something that he's interested in doing." So the fact that you wanted to keep engaging him and keep trying to freaking poke at him, it's just like, girl, you said it yourself. He's not good at that part of the game. Why are you still talking to this man?
I no, I don't know. And people are like saying, "Nani, you, it's okay, it's fine, like it's okay." I'm like, "This."
No, people were trying to say he's an asshole and it's okay and everything's justified. And especially Laurel, because she had that incident with him. It's, oh, everything is justified. He's being an asshole because he doesn't want to listen to you. And I completely understand, like, yo, he's saying at this point, the way she came at him, I just think like the conversation in general and just, it was just stupid to begin with. But she kept going, she kept trying to provoke and aggravate it. And then it's like when he walks away and he's like to the point where he's just like over it. Now it's like, oh, you see, he's acting like that with you and he did that with me, so now everybody is in like cahoots and everyone's like, yeah, he's an asshole. And it's just like, no, but it's certain isolated situations that's happening. Like, it's not all looped in together. And what Nani did
Yeah,
was make sure, basically just do Johnny's dirty work, and then try to just cover it up as her being a friend and trying to be loyal.
yeah. I'm like, he's not the common denominator in making things hasty. Like, he he has his ways, but if you come into him with something, it's not his fault to the degree. You just gotta adjust and move on.
Just don't talk
Um,
to him. He's not one to
yeah,
talk to. Like, just know your personnel. He don't want to talk. He don't want to talk. Like,
And we're gonna, like I said, we're gonna move. Like I said, we're gonna move on. We're gonna move on to deliberation, where Nani told Bananas that he tried to calmly talk to Turbo as a friend and took it as an attack. Um, and they, at this point, they already know that the house doesn't want Turbo in there, so they're now okay. Let's see who we can put in with him to go against. And they're like, okay, we're gonna just pull the three teams that they know that are working together essentially, and Johnny and Raven, Jay and Michelle, and Olivia and Horacio, and we'll just kind of kill two birds in one stone. We'll knock down this little trio and get Turbo out.
I mean, and this is another situation where it's just like Nani lost me again because even though this is where I said last week again, the draw is gonna have people in shambles because if you really don't mess with a certain group of people or y'all say y'all cool and y'all aligned with each other and it comes down to it, it's like who's gonna save who. And at the end of the day, when Jay and Michelle aligned themselves with Johnny and Raven because Jay and Johnny are cool, now your partner's gonna have to deal with that. And Nani was quote unquote cool with Michelle. I don't know if it's one sided. I don't know if Michelle was more cool with Nani than she was cool with her or what the situation was. But the way Michelle was boo-hooing about how she was cool and she would never do no shit like that to her friend, and I was there for you, girl, and I'm blah blah blah, and she crying her eyes out. I'm just lost because if Nani is supposed to be calmly going to her friend Turbo, she's calmly
Mm-hmm.
going to her friend Michelle. It's like at the end, I don't want to be Nani's friend. Like if I'm somebody outside, like I do not want to be your friend because you're just throwing everybody to the wolves and being like, "Hey, girl, so as a friend, I'm coming to you and I'm just gonna put you up for elimination because that's just what my partner wants to do." It's like, okay, you don't have a backbone. You don't have nothing to stand
This is classic Nani.
on. Okay, just checking.
Cause like I don't want to know why Michelle. Like I get Michelle was hurt, but ma'am, you are also aligned with Jay, who is friends with the man who really kind of like put a hit out on all the vets. Like you should have known what was coming. Like, ma'am, this is a game. It's not personal. It's all game. And I hate that she even like tried to go for an Oscar because that was horrible.
Yeah, I don't know what she thought that she was doing, but girl, save them tears for somebody who actually gives a shit.
Mm-mm. And so they also talked to Johnny and Raven, and Bananas told them like we're really trying to break y'all up because we know y'all are coming for the big vets and stuff. Um, and Bananas was also in Jay's head about him being friends with Johnny. Um, but I'm like, sir, I get what you're trying to do, but is it gonna last?
I mean, Johnny's just gonna try to do what he does, which is be an asshole, but try to be nice about it, essentially. And I think Turbo is just an asshole to people in their face, and Johnny and the rest of the gang is just like, all right, we'll try to be nice about it. We'll try to cover it up, but essentially, they're trying to get to their victory as well.
Yeah. And they try to talk to Turbo and Tamara, and Turbo was not trying to hear her at all. And he stood up to walk out. They had a shouting match back and forth, and he was like, "I'm not doing this. I'm out."
Period.
He's like, Tamara was just sitting there. I'm like, "Yeah, I'm gonna go." Like, there's nothing else for me to really say because we decided we're not gonna really say much.
She didn't know what to do. That poor girl was confused. She was like sitting down, standing up, sitting down, standing up. Nani looking at her saying, "Sit down." He's saying, "Yo, come on." Like she just was lost in the sauce.
Yeah. And then we go to the party, And Raven was very annoyed that Johnny was spending time with, quote, that girl, aka Nerys, night before elimination and not assuring her. And I'm like, ma'am, you looking down bad for what?
Girl, girl. I seen a little TikTok she did talking about she went to Argentina with her crush, and then he hooked up with somebody else the first night that she got there. Why you keep embarrassing yourself online? Like, have you no shame? Bring back shame. Like, what's wrong with you people? Like, I don't understand. Like, why are you going online telling us this? Like, ew.
And I get like y'all should be talking as partners to figure out what to do for like the dagger situation if y'all end up in that situation. Ma'am, like you said, have some shame. Like this is looking bad. And then also it's really funny because when Reese is tweeting like, "Y'all gotta stop showing me with that man." I'm like, "Man, that's all your storyline is Johnny. That's it." These girls are
we
something else.
we gonna pray. We gonna pray for these people.
And we also see Horatio and Laurel flirting. Um, and in his confessional with Olivia about it, he was like, "I'm kind of scared because you know, Laurel's a bit much."
Laura was just being assertive, and he just probably has never dealt that before. I don't know. So that's funny because I feel like Laurel always gets with the person who, like, looks like he can do well in the challenge. Laurel has a history of that with
Mm-hmm.
CT, Kenny, this person, that person. Like, the girl has a history of doing this sort of thing.
Yeah. Um, but I'm like, Godspeed to y'all, whatever happens. And then we see Michelle still a bit peeved at Nani, where they have a come to Jesus moment about this whole Michelle being in an elimination situation. And she was also very annoyed that whatever Jay does in the game is a blowback on her. But she was telling Nani, like, I would not let him put y'all in because you're my friend. Nani apologized to Michelle. But she was innocent, got to play for herself. Like, it is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, Michelle, that's not your friend. Bye.
And next day, Johnny tells Olivia that he sees them kind of like making it close to the end. And they gotta trust each other throughout the game. And while they're talking, Jay and Michelle see them talking. And Jay was hoping that a deal was struck between the two. And Michelle said that Johnny is doing a bit too much and would throw him in over Olivia and Horatio. Um, and said that as long as he's in the house, they're gonna be linked to him and they're gonna be a target. On one note, I get why Johnny would talk to Olivia because they are both from Love Island, and there's some sort of loyalty with people from Love Island. You've seen it on the USA season; like they kept themselves close knit. It makes sense for them to have some sort of loyalty to one another because it's only them two from that show that's there.
Yeah, I mean, that's completely understandable why they would try to link and be aligned with each other. I think that Johnny probably noticed from the conversation with Bananas that, listen, they're trying to sniff me out, and I need more people that are on my side and on my team to help me get through this game. And it can't just be Jay and Michelle because they're already on to me being close with Jay. So I need somebody else. And Horatio and Olivia have shown, at least for this episode, I'm not going to say for future episodes, I don't know what's going to happen, but as long as this episode happened, they've shown themselves to be strong. So why not align with Olivia, who is a part of the Love Island crew?
Yeah. And he know that he's public enemy number one when it comes to the rookies, and so Like I said, you gotta get the troops together. Um, and so we get to the elimination arena, and Bananas and Nani choose Turbo and Tamara because Turbo did not want to engage in the interrogation. And so we have our first players of this elimination, which is expected. And then everybody else has to do the draw of the dagger, where Olivia and Horatio went first. They drew a blank. Johnny Raven also drew a blank. And Jay and Michelle, they drew the faith dagger. And this kind of had them in limbo. It took a while to deliberate because Michelle's vehement, like, I don't want Johnny back in the house because he's not good for our game. But Jay's like, that is my friend. And if I go back on my word to him, I'm going to look like a snake. So what am I supposed to do?
I mean, that's the thing. It was literally Jay versus Michelle at this point in terms of what the decision was going to be made. Now, I did wish that it was like the both of them making a decision and saying it rather than Jay just going outright and saying, we're going to pick Johnny Raven to save." But I mean, I guess to save time, you know, Johnny Raven
Yeah.
gets saved. No surprise. But that's not gonna get Jay and Michelle very far going further because clearly there's a dissension in terms of ways that they want to go, ways that they want to strategize, being political, and that's most a part of the game in this situation. So if those two are not aligned in that way, then it's gonna be a problem.
Yeah. And so that means that Olivia and Horatio are playing against Turbo and Tamara in a game called Memory Lane, where each player will take turns flipping over tiles on a giant memory board. And if the tiles match, they will remain face up. If they don't, they'll go back down. And the first team to uncover all 24 tiles will win. And this elimination really had people pissed off with the audience contributing to how this ended up being.
I feel like a broken record at this point because every single season there's always crowd participation in certain eliminations that help people to win. And I mean, in layman's terms, it's called cheating, assisting, whatever you want to call it. However, I just think that this was just so blatantly insane to watch because at one point Laurel, they tell everybody shut up, 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 shut up. Laurel's talking, and Laurel's just like, okay, listen, this is what we're gonna do. Left, corner right, blue, go there, run over there, go to the middle, do this. Bitch, you not even playing. Like, you're standing in the stands. Why are you talking? Like, I don't understand what is really going on. And then consistently after that, every single person is just yelling in favor of Olivia and Horatio. And I get Turbo was enemy number one. They did not fuck with him. They didn't want him in the house, blah, 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 whatever. But at least give him a fair opportunity to lose. That's not a fair opportunity to lose when you're assisting the couple and giving them the answers. Like, that's just cheating. Like, I don't
Yeah.
understand how the producers think that's okay.
I don't know. But like Chauncey said, like it's a testament of the challenge also being a social game and people like you. But also that only goes so far, like Horatio said later on, because like sure, like they helped us out, but and that's only gonna last so long. And they're only gonna be friendly for only so long. So it helped them in this one because they got out Turbo, but like they immediately started yelling out answers. Like really, they got the first. They went through like the first time, they didn't get anything, and then Bananas just started yelling. And I'm like, sir, shut up. Like, quiet. Like, let them figure it out on their own. Because with them helping them, they beat Turbo and Tamara in a landslide. Like,
Uh, I don't think Tamara and Turbo could even hear each other at that point. The way that it was edited, it was like towards the end of it where they're trying to get Horatio and Olivia trying to get the like the ninth or like 10th ones. Turbo's like looking at Tamara. Tamara's still flipping, shit, trying to make sure that she can get her answers together. And Turbo's just looking on, looking on, looking on, and Olivia and Horatio just flying through it because it's like you have Laurel screaming, you have this person screaming, that person screaming, and it's just too much. And I don't think anyone can really concentrate with that going on when you literally have people who are trying and actively to plot against you. Like, I just don't think that's it. Like, either put a barricade up or something where they can't see anything and they get the challenge done, or something where it's just like y'all gotta shut up and let these people finish it, like, it don't matter what your ties are to them, because I just don't think that's even remotely fair in giving them an opportunity to win.
yeah, I feel like we should go back to not having them even watch it, because like let's have them come back to the house after elimination. Be surprised, because it's gotten to a point where it's annoying. We saw it on All Stars. We saw it last season. Like, it's a repeated thing every season where people are yelling, and it's sure it helps for a dramatic effect because you're helping get out, quote unquote, a big target, and you don't want them in there. But it doesn't help the audience at home because it's very annoying and it's just a lot going on.
Exactly.
And so, like we said, Olivia and Ratio won this in a landslide. Um, Turbo was rightfully pissed off, but he said he always has love for Nani, no matter what. He still doesn't like Bananas, the number one idiot champion, but he has some respect for him. Uh, and yeah, that's that's really it. But it is funny too because once Horatio got the last pairs done, he did a front flip off the platform.
Yeah, and fell right on his ass.
And that's when Horatio said like he knew like there everybody was waiting for them obviously because Turbo was the big target, but he said he'll forgive, but he's not gonna forget because he was still put in that situation by the vets. So I like that mentality from him. And then as like TJ like said this spiel, everyone's like, "Yay, let's go back to the house." He was like, basically like I have no surprise for y'all." Uh, and as like they're trying to walk out, he's like, "Wait, hold on, I have another person, heard other people coming," and he tricks him out basically, and says that he's still feeling friendly, and he brings out Jordan, who still has his ugly mullet haircut.
Well, early in the episode, we didn't talk about this because we don't want to talk about this, but Tori was discussing Jordan and their relationship and how they haven't spoken to each other and blah blah blah, whatever. Here comes Jordan running down the aisle, and it's just like, ugh. Like, why are you here? Like, are you new here? Like, why are you here? I can't.
We just saw him.
We
We
just
just
saw
saw
him.
him.
I just saw you, and I really did not even like the way I saw you because you were like with Naya, and I couldn't even take that. I could barely stomach that.
But you know, Naya was almost going to be on this season with him.
I know, and she had something. She had a medical emergency. Shout out to Naya. She had a medical emergency that had came up like literally the last minute, and so that's why she didn't make the show. It would have been interesting to see her and Jordan, and then Tori in the house. But we'll see how Jordan gets with some other women in the house and how that works out. But yeah,
Yeah.
this is what we get.
So we see Jordan is by himself standing there, and Tori is shook, as she should, because it's been over a year they haven't seen each other. And then next week we're gonna see Anissa come out, and I'm not excited for that either. because I'm tired of seeing her on my screen. And her and Jordan as a pair do not match because they are not friends.
Bye. Let's move on. Let's go to the tweets.
Let me pull them up. Hold on. Um, I just have to get that out again because that is annoying.
Yeah, no, because we gonna have to discuss it next week. I'm just mentally trying to prepare myself. I just please.
All right, so I'm getting to the tweets from this week's episode. We always like just take the tweets from the challenges. Hashtag because folk be funny. First one is production bringing back Casey and Kenny is like when you leave leftover food at someone's house that you didn't want and they bring it back to you.
Yeah, that's like leftover Boston market. Nobody wants it.
Yeah. Next tweet is actually it's like a screen cap. I'm gonna try and read it. But it's someone put a screen cap of what Turbo's caption was on his Instagram, and he said, "So sorry for acting like that towards the vets." Crying face. If I get the chance to come back, I won't be acting the same. And then he did the sad face. I'll make sure to be worse. And for sure, I'll take the chance to fuck them up one by one. See you later. It's always an honor to be part of the challenge family. And it's funny too, at the comment that's under it is Cara Maria. And she said, quote, I will make sure to be worse. And I'm like, listen,
Is she
shout out to
even
Turbo.
coming back? Like, girl, you gotta get the call first before you even start talking. Mama, please. I fuck with Cara too, but come on now. They're not even calling you.
No, she should have been on the season though. As much as her and Polly are a mess on the show, they should have been on here. But that's another discussion. Next tweet is I love that we just pretend that Jay and Bananas don't share a Morgan connection. Because as we know, for those who have watched X on the Beach, Jay and Morgan, who debuted on the challenge, um, were together. And when she came on the challenge, she hooked up with Bananas and cheated on him, basically. And they ended up together for a cool minute, and now they're broken up. But it's still always funny to know that Jay was with Morgan, and Bananas took her from him.
Um,
I love white mess. It's funny.
I
The
don't.
last tweet. The last tweet is this is 3 times production tried to make Nom happen, and it just doesn't pan out. Can we bring back JP, Ashley Kane, Gabbo?
Can we not? can, can, can we not? It's just try to do better by now. Like I think we can try to make that work first before we bring back those. Mm-mm.
But it's 3 times not a charm.
3 times that they've literally failed with either giving him a crappy partner, putting him in an alternate situation, or the one that they can't help, which is the injury. The
Yes.
injury, take that aside. The 2 other times are literally due to partner issues. So just bring him back on an individual contest.
Oh, I have tea for you on that because a global. But yeah.
Okay.
um, but that's the end of this episode. All the tweets.
We're out of tweets. We're out of time. We're done. Uh, yeah, episode 2 was a doozy, but shout out to Turbo. I wish she would have stayed longer just to play that villain role a little bit longer and get under these people's skin because I feel like it's going to be a little bit more of a kumbaya situation where the vets and the rookies will be going at each other, and this is what we're going to have to deal with for the rest of the season with in terms of storyline and alliances. So gonna be just like any other season of the challenge. Boo. Anyway, we'll be back next week to talk more about this show. If you like to listen to anything that we do, you can follow our pages. You can follow Megan's page at Megan Hines. You can follow my page at
Ace_S5. I put it under
it's
so that you
I
can
just
see.
noticed it's literally under my face. Do you think I can read? Bitch, I'm Helen Keller. I can't see. You can follow our Twitter page at Dual Alliance Pod. You can follow our YouTube page at Dual Alliance Podcast, uh, where you can watch this live stream if you would like, and the audio releases after the fact. So yes, we'll be back next week to discuss more of the challenge. Thank you guys so much for listening. We will see you guys next week. Bye.
Bye. Hold on.